The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. It's not stress that kills us, it's our reaction to it. The time to relax is when you don't have time for it. Much of the stress that people feel doesn't come from having too much to do. It comes from not finishing what they've started. We can easily manage if we will only take, each day, the burden appointed to it. But the load will be too heavy for us if we carry yesterday's burden over again today, and then add the burden of the morrow before we are required to bear it. Mental health awareness doesn't mean fighting stress, anxiety, depression, and other everyday mental health issues. Rather, it means consciously modulating the habits that intensify those issues. Once you are in control of your habits, instead of checking your habits, you would automatically be in a much better shape, both mentally and physically. It isn't the mountain ahead that wears you out, it's the grain of sand in your shoe. My key to dealing with stress is simple: just stay cool and stay focused. Don't underestimate the value of doing nothing, of just going along, listening to all the things you can't hear, and not bothering. To experience peace does not mean that your life is always blissful. It means that you are capable of tapping into a blissful state of mind amidst the normal chaos of a hectic life. Rest is not idleness, and to lie sometimes on the grass under the trees on a summer's day, listening to the murmur of water, or watching the clouds float across the sky, is by no means a waste of time. When you find yourself stressed, ask yourself one question: will this matter in 5 years from now? If yes, then do something about the situation. If no, then let it go. Times of stress are also times that are signals for growth, and if we use adversity properly, we can grow through adversity. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your own estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. There is no such thing as a stress-free life. No evidence has ever been presented which suggests that a stress-free life can ever be achieved. Stress can be managed, relieved, and lessened, but never eliminated. There is a tonic strength in the hour of sorrow and affliction, in escaping from the world and society and getting back to the simple duties and interests we have slighted and forgotten. Our world grows smaller, but it grows dearer and greater. Simple things have a new charm for us, and we suddenly realize that we have been renouncing all that is greatest and best in our pursuit of some phantom. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Stress is not what happens to us. It's our response to what happens. And response is something we can choose. Stress is the trash of modern life. We all generate it, but if you don't dispose of it properly, it will pile up and overtake your life. Don't believe every worried thought you have. Worried thoughts are notoriously inaccurate. These mountains that you are carrying, you were only supposed to climb. If you want to test your memory, try to recall what you were worrying about 1 year ago. In times of life crisis, whether wildfires or smoldering stress, the first thing I do is go back to basics. Am I eating right? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I getting some physical and mental exercise every day? Stress is like spice. In the right proportion, it enhances the flavor of a dish. Too little produces a bland, dull meal. Too much may choke you. Our anxiety does not come from thinking about the future, but from wanting to control it. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow has not yet come. We have only today. Let us begin. No beating yourself up. That's not allowed. Be patient with yourself. It took you years to form the bad habits of thought that you no longer want. It will take a little time to form new and better ones. But I promise you this, even a slight move in this direction will bring you some peace. The more effort you apply to it, the faster you'll find your bliss, but you'll experience rewards immediately. If you really want to escape the things that harass you, what you're needing is not to be in a different place, but to be a different person. There cannot be a stressful crisis next week. My schedule is already full. You can do anything but not everything. Stress is largely self-inflicted, so the ability to manage stress more effectively comes from managing oneself. Stress can result in anxiety if handled poorly, or achievement if handled well. Instead of thinking about your worries as problems, think of them as challenges, and if possible, as opportunities. Smiling can be infectious in a workplace to help reduce stress, to help teamwork, to diffuse high-pressure situations. The more you smile, the more people will smile back. Tension is a habit. Relaxing is a habit. Bad habits can be broken, good habits formed. A good way to overcome stress is to help others out of theirs. The next time you are tempted to get anxious or upset about something, especially something in the past or the future, think about what you are doing and turn your mind to what is going on today. There is no trouble so great or grave that cannot be much diminished by a nice cup of tea. Your calm mind is the ultimate weapon against your challenges. So relax. Suffering becomes beautiful when anyone bears great calamities with cheerfulness. Not through insensibility, but through greatness of mind. We must have a pie. Stress cannot exist in the presence of a pie. Relax. No one else knows what they're doing either. What you're supposed to do when you don't like a thing is change it. If you can't change it, change the way you think about it. Don't complain. If you want to conquer the anxiety of life, live in the moment, live in the breath. You must learn to let go. Release the stress. You were never in control anyway. More smiling, less worrying. More compassion, less judgment. More blessed, less stressed. More love, less hate. To achieve great things, two things are needed: a plan and not quite enough time. In times of stress, the best thing we can do for each other is to listen with our ears and our hearts and to be assured that our questions are just as important as our answers. I promise you, nothing is as chaotic as it seems. Nothing is worth diminishing your health. Nothing is worth poisoning yourself into stress, anxiety, and fear. If the problem can be solved, why worry? If the problem cannot be solved, worrying will do you no good. Pain is a relatively objective, physical phenomenon. Suffering is our psychological resistance to what happens. Events may create physical pain, but they do not in themselves create suffering. Resistance creates suffering. Stress happens when your mind resists what is. The only problem in your life is your mind's resistance to life as it unfolds. Stress is largely self-inflicted, so the ability to manage stress more effectively comes from managing oneself. Adopting the right attitude can convert a negative stress into a positive one. The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another.